What you're looking at here is this mural. It is currently recognized in the world, the best understood ancient Egyptian fresco. So here's the problem. The Sphinx in the painting are obviously a couple. So, another Sphinx looking west. Yes, if the Egyptians are the patterns depicted as real, the second half of the content. So for everyone to better understand, friends who haven't watched the first episode yet, it is recommended to go to the homepage to understand the previous content first. From the content of the previous issue, the regular audience probably understands the archaeological work of the face of the entire stone god, basically around this piece, the story described in the stone tablet, to carry out, and in a large number of ancient Egyptian cultures. It is not difficult to find. This civilization and our Chinese civilization, they are all very advocating and talking. That's what it means to be in pairs. Therefore, if the teacher and student face each other, really from the ancient Egyptians, then the words in the secret tunnel, and a lion, maybe it hasn't been discovered by us humans yet, buried deep in the yellow sand, and there is a suspicion of a second lion. Not only did it appear just now, in the content of the mural we see, including the stele we are most familiar with, there are also two ends facing east and lion to the west. Therefore, many archaeological teams follow such clues, expand to include Egypt, in many countries abroad, archaeological exploration, but unfortunately, the theoretical existence of this lion, the whereabouts are still unknown. So it was a joke. Like in the first issue, many viewers questioned in the comment area, the Sphinx is falsifying history. Therefore, in our generation, can you witness the other one? What is the true face of a lion? Carve this behemoth. How much does it cost to realize? What about the ear? Knowledgeable friends, let me tell you the answer in the comment area. But let's get down to business. From the content of the stone tablet, the god we know, the general process of the machine, and the throne of Thutmose IV. But there is one crucial detail. The author was in the previous episode. What is not mentioned in the content, because it was originally in the picture, when Deimos was out hunting. The servants were sent with him, and the nerves in him and the statue. When communicating in sexual dreams, people who walked with him, and I saw some incredible images. So this is the unbelievable part. It is also clearly engraved in the stone tablet. According to the written description on the stone tablet, at that time they witnessed the stone statue with their own eyes. The top keeps appearing, flashing objects resembling eyes, and it was broad daylight, excluding stars that only appear at night. Under their noses, something resembling an eye appears. This thing that keeps flashing. What is he? And this is close to modern. Describe the content of unidentified flying objects. Could it have existed thousands of years ago? In addition to that, there is another meaning recorded in the stone tablet. Deep words. So, please write down this string of numbers, because in the following description will appear frequently. Let's go back to what the deep lock in the stone statue describes. I've been standing here since the very beginning. That sounds very understandable. Therefore, also for lions, the origin of God and man. So, it's a crux of the puzzle. But the complication is that, who is this god? What about Ambis, the wolf head? Or the famous god Osiris he wants to protect? But no matter who it is, there are ancient Egyptian myths about them. The content is quite rich. The ancient Egyptians at that time, a very special era, recorded. And this era is the famous one. The Golden Age was a time when people and gods coexisted together. And this era, we're now 12,500 years old. Therefore, if the content of this stone tablet is true, this time period is related to ancient Egypt as we know it. Civilization time period. There is a 7,500 year difference. This also means that I was ordered to go and excavate ancient Egypt, and a season of numerous archaeological teams are very unreliable, because why now? Key discoveries announced by the West. We will contact you as soon as possible. Thinking of these two is very wake up. Purpose large print. Well, get rid of the human side. Did you notice? In fact, the Golden Age in ancient Egypt. It is very similar to the myth of our Chinese civilization before the following week. Xiong Fuxi Niuwa. Zhurong, the origin figures of Chinese civilization. It also clearly informed future generations. There was a time when God and man coexisted. Therefore, our myths and ancient. This golden age in Egypt, no matter the time period, the meaning or the content are very consistent. So what do you think that into different civilizations? Between, could there be a corresponding connection point again? In addition to that, everyone write it down. Remember this one well. The name of the geographer. His name is Robert Scotch. Compared to those unscrupulous archaeological teams, he's a very conscientious scientist. In his life, he's been studying lions for 20 years. Mysteries of the body and the face. Therefore, he spent decades, and there was a critical problem. It turns out that the weathering and erosion of Shi Shenren's family and the surrounding Sahara Desert, the situation doesn't match at all. So, we have a good chance it was all sloppy by the previous group. The archaeological team was deceived because Dr. Scotch gave the construction time in front of Shi Shen's people about 10,000 to 12,000 years ago. So, you should have noticed the word time in this book. Make up again. Coincidentally, the ancient Egypt mentioned at the door. The Golden Age time period walks together, and if you choose again, will your original answer continue to be guaranteed? Stay but until you answer that. Please keep in mind about archaeology, the law of measuring the year, because of wind and water. Yes, they don't talk like we do. Therefore, they cannot be like humans. Lie to you. The content recorded in the 10 times. That's pretty much it. Let's discuss. The lion god man faces other interesting things. Back in 1987, the Japanese archaeological team led by Professor Jimura, while scanning the Sphinx for electromagnetic waves. Amazing discovery. There are two huge voids beneath the lion's body, like two secret rooms. After multiple confirmations, it has been confirmed that there is indeed something down there. So the team went to the Egyptian government department, apply for excavation approval, but the excavation application, it was rejected by the relevant departments. The content of the rejection is not explicitly stated. Anyway, I won't let you dig, just don't dig. So there was a lot of speculation at the time. This should be related to the religious beliefs in Egypt, because in the texts of ancient Egypt, there is such a record, exists in lions. In this secret room where the body faces the right front paw, there are two stones given by the gods, a piece called Uri. The other piece is worn in with colic. The reason why these two stones were hidden so deep, because they all shine, and the shape of these two stones, just like the current Israeli, the same as the flag symbols, and in their bell horn beliefs. These two stones represent the end of the world. It's the end of the world. Therefore, it is said that the Egyptian government rejected the Japanese government. Archaeological team, the military is still being used, forced a ban on archaeological excavations in the chamber. So, speaking of ancient Egyptian civilization, the most representative, nothing beats the three-piece set of ancient Egypt, like the gold mask of Tutankhamun currently priced, and the so-called Pharaoh Suzuki pyramid, including the current theme and even the face. These ancient first-order content, it should also be enough for human expenses, generations to explore. So, if you compare the first two, if you are very interested, remember to follow me. The author will spend time doing a separate issue. Share with you? So there are other clues about the Sphinx. also only from Giza near him, the pyramids began, the so-called pyramids of Giza. It is composed of three, made up of pyramids of different sizes. If we look at them from above, you will find their layout very similar to somewhere in the sky. The three stars are lined side by side. It's the famous belt of Orion. So it's not just the pyramid layout. Even the size of the middle, also corresponding, built by the brightness of these three stars. The largest pyramid corresponding to the brightest Shengshuichi, the other to our light sensitive, corresponding to Shenzhua and Shenzhou 3 respectively. So here's the problem. Despite the difficulty of building these pyramids, these ancient ruins so obsessed with celestial phenomena, do you think the ancient Egyptians at that time, is there really the ability to build them? And there are records in ancient Egyptian texts. It was also described in the last episode. There is a large amount of detailed records of households, include Osiris, the eldest in ancient Egyptian mythology, or Anubis in the form of a fox wolf. Oh, the history of ancient Egypt is basically related to this hunting. Households are inextricably linked. Therefore, under these massive buildings of such elaborate design, what do you think their use? As the ancient saying goes, it's a grave code used to store the remains of pharaohs. So, if you still have that idea, please be patient and listen to the following content. So far, among the more than 100 pyramids in Egypt, there are no pyramidal structures. We found evidence of pharaoh mummies. The true purpose of these pharaohs, it's all in the Valley of the Kings. This is something that has been confirmed many times. The other for asked which wise pharaoh will be buried with their own funerals in such a conspicuous pyramid? If he really thinks so, the whole of ancient Egypt and civilization cannot last for thousands of years because of the war in those days, not as constrained as modern times. So, under such ostentatious circumstances, maybe the whole country will be restless too. And about these three and tigers, the pyramid corresponding to the belt, due to their existence, time is thousands of years old from our present day. So, on the Earth's axis of rotation, with Orion, both are constantly changing circumstances. The current pyramids of Giza, it is slightly deviated from these three stars. But astronomers are at the site again, and there was an unexpected finding. They use celestial motion as an inference. It turns out that 12,500 years ago, whether it is the rotation angle of the Earth or the position of the celestial body tiger at that time, they are all accurate and unbiased. So this time, the eyes appeared by coincidence again. Therefore, after receiving such information, an incredible time in the past, once again mentioned by the world. This happened in 1932. He was at that time the world's most famous psychic prophet, Edgar Cayce, hailed by the world as a sleeping prophet. Therefore, he once published a paragraph, shocking psychic experience. In this experience, he learned that he had a past life. It served as a high priest in the ancient Egyptian civilization, sacrificial. Therefore, he also participated in the Great Pyramid and the Lion God, the entire construction process of the human face. In his past life memory description, the Sphinx are attracted to this Great Pyramid. Year of construction, all in 10,490 BC. So, the distance to our current year, still such a number. In addition to that, Edgar Cayce also described. So, these two, ancient one, is related to our previous generation of human civilization. The old audience will definitely not be unfamiliar with it. He meant one night, Atlantis vanished from the earth. So, this is what you see here. Must think he's a bunch of nonsense. So, Edgar Cayce at the time, also very certain, beneath the right precursor under the Sphinx, there is a secret room, and in this secret room, have The last wave of human civilization left us a record. It includes the history of the Atlantean civilization and the true origin of humanity on Earth. Even the relevant records of advanced technology. It's all under the front poles. And the Atlanteans at that time took this secret room. It's called the Hall of Records. And this time of skepticism, after 50 years of immersion, that is, 1987 mentioned above, the Japanese archaeological team led by Professor Jimura also confirmed this prophecy. In addition to that, I think you are right. This Martian boy is no stranger. He was 2 years old, started with his parents, says a lot about Mars. In his past life memories, except there's a description of Mars, previously existed outside a highly developed civilization. Also mentioned our topic today, Sphinx. He said that in his past life memories, the Sphinx has a mechanism behind its ear. The mechanism is the entrance to the interior of the Sphinx. It contains a lot of information about the high-tech technology of the previous generation of human civilization, but he can't remember how to get in. Then, if it is like the Martian South Sea said, in combination with the above, the 2 secret rooms mentioned below, if all this is true, then whenever you see the news in the future, they said Egypt could land on the moon, or the Martian South Sea currently, the Russian country to which it belongs can achieve Martian immigration. What's really going to happen in these fire zones? And don't be too surprised, because I can't tell. These forces come from the interior of the deep human face. So, thank you for being here. It's about lions, the content of personal appearance, and I'm going to share that with you. If you like the content of this video, might as well give a little love to encourage setbacks. Thank you for watching. See you next time.